Welcome to episode 13 of More Fun Talking Retro. It's okay, I'm not a superstitious man, so nothing will go wrong in this episode at all. Mark my words. Putting that hokum aside for a moment, I want to open this show by reflecting on how we go about picking and choosing our next project. I'm incredibly spoiled for choice here in my workshop, and it's hard for me to move in here without stumbling over 3 things that need repairing or building. But I imagine most people agonise for days over what they might spend their precious free time working on next. Making lists, doing research, investigating GitHub repositories, before finally choosing the thing they want to create. It's an important decision, but I imagine that today's guest just takes some mind-expanding substance, says, right, I'm going to build this mad thing, and then just gets to work. I can only describe today's guest as a unique creator in the retro and vintage tech community, someone who is contributing genuinely useful resources, projects and content, as well as some projects that don't fit so well in the useful category. Rob Smith, Dev, you have some explaining to do. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. What an introduction. Thank you.
I built that one especially for you. That's focused on the whole thing is Rob Smith Dev is mad, and you really are.
Maybe. I mean,
well, it comes across in what you do, and what we see in your, especially on your YouTube channel, but also at events. But let's go through because there've been a few guests over the recent weeks that have just been YouTubers, and it's easy for me to pick YouTubers because they're the ones I know most of. Mm-hmm. But you're not just a YouTuber; you do some other stuff as well. Do you want to tell us what? Let's pick the Retro Directory first. You do the Retro Directory. What's that all about?
So that's a website where you can instantly see a map of pretty much everything retro around you. That includes shops, museums, clubs, pretty much anything like that. And then there's also a whole section where you can find events that are coming up as well. Again, shown on a map, so it's really easy to find out where things are, and it's completely free.
And it's a genius idea, and I wish it would be much, much bigger than it already is, because I think it's something that will serve the community amazingly well. But the only thing I don't like about it is that it reminds me how few things there are close by, because as I've said before, I live in a retro wilderness. It's a wasteland here. I think Ipswich is the closest place that's got anything to me, and it's about half an hour away, so it's not really that bad.
It's not bad for me. There's quite a bit of stuff around me, so yeah.
Now, how many? What? Because you get on the map on your on the Retro Directory, you get these little mushrooms that come up with a number on, showing you if there's more than one thing in that location. Yeah. How many are on your mushroom?
Oh, crikey. Depends how much I zoom out. But well, around me now, I can see about 6 or 7 events, something like that. If I go to places, there's a lot more. So, yeah, quite a lot.
Oh, you must be properly metropolitan then.
Well, I am 15 minutes away from one of the computer museums, so that's quite handy as well.
That's all right, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, but you live, it's Lincolnshire way, isn't it?
It's Leicestershire.
Leicester, sorry. I always get those muddled up. Yeah, because you are often talking about the museum there, which is, tell me what the name is, because
the Retro Computer Museum.
Oh, that's a really easy name to remember.
It is.
But they are always flooding and getting burgled. So
they are, yes.
They're always in the news. I think it's just a way to get headlines, to get people in the door. This is all staged. There'll be a fight. No, don't please put it down. It's one that I really want to go to as well, because it's not too far from me. There's some further north that are crazy far away from where I am. I'm in the southeast, and it is one that I've got on my list. So maybe we should meet up there sometime if it's only 15 minutes from you.
It's well worth going. Yeah, I mean, I'm going. They've got an event coming up in June that I'm planning on going to. So just one of their special open days. So I should be there.
Is it themed or is it just a?
They always call it their legendary awesome event, but there's nothing special. It's just an event that they've picked, and sometimes
it to me.
Sometimes they have special guests turn up. Depends on who it is, and they don't really tell you who they are until you're going to be there. But it's usually a massive crowd of people, and it's usually very packed. So, it's Wonderful. A good day. I usually don't end up playing on anything, though. I usually end up just talking to people because there's that many people to talk to, and it's great.
This always happens. So the last event you went to was Zap or Is it Zap or Crash?
Zap Live. Yeah, it was Zap Live a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
How did you go? How did it go?
It was good. Yeah. I was in the room with the Retro Compute Museum because they had a load of their spare kit that they take along to it. And it was nice. Lots of people got to see my latest crazy creation, which some of you may have seen since the video went live, I think, last week. And yeah, lots of people had a play on it, and it's just a really nice atmosphere. Lots of people coming to explore it, and it was really nice to see not just like the older generation, but also quite a lot of the younger generation coming along and playing on some of these old machines as well. So a really nice atmosphere. Nice. Yeah.
And you spent the whole day just talking to people and having a good time showing off your invention, which we'll get to in a second.
Yes. And I had my other older inventions with me as well. So, yeah.
And this is one of the things. So, okay, let's go to you make things. You build these crazy things. So the first time I met you was at Nottingham at the Kickstarter event, and you brought along your floppy disk car wash.
Yes.
Which plays copyright infringing music all day long.
Yes, much to everyone who was trying to film it. Yes, they're annoying.
And Reese loved it. Reese was on the table next to you, and he just had the best time ever. He
loved it.
Actually, my favourite thing that was there on your table that weekend was you had a button set up.
I did.
If anybody pressed it, it would give you a notification on your wrist.
It did,
and everybody just kept coming along and pressed it anytime you were away.
Yeah, I let the battery run out on that in the end.
Okay, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
It did, yes. But I thought the idea is I could wander off and then, come back if someone wanted to see something or ask a question. But it got a little bit abused.
I wish I could have a Rob Smith button here. I could just he'd be there to tell me, what he's going to invent next. So I want to know what happens to these inventions. Where's the what happened to the floppy disk car wash?
It's currently in a box behind me. You might just be able to see it over my shoulder. One of those. I can't do it. One of those boxes there.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's hiding in a flight case back there.
So, right. Yes, so do you get them out for events and things? And
I do, yeah. So obviously that one went to Zap, and that one's been to everything I've been to in the last year, I think. So
you had that one as well as the new one out?
I did, yeah.
Right. That's just.
And I also had the previous one, which was my disc copying machine, my disc backup machine.
I remember this. Yes, I saw this on Neil's channel on the Retro Collective. I can't.
Yes,
keeps changing his name.
It does. But this is the new small version of it. That's just one drive rather than three because it got a bit big and it was a bit cluttery to take around, so I've shrunk it.
I think you were going to show that. Did you take that to the cave once?
I took the old one to the cave, yes, but I haven't. Yeah. No one's seen the new one yet, apart from people who were at Zap. So
right, when you took that one to the cave, that was an event that I was supposed to go to, and I missed it due to illness. So I did. That would have been cool. I would have been able to see all of the Rob Smith inventions.
I'm sure I'll be down at the cave at some point, and I'll have them there again.
Right. Okay. Definitely. And we'll do a Big Red Arrow Club meetup over at the cave as well. So that's always fun. So your latest invention. Yes. And this, for anyone watching and listening to this isn't all that Rob does. He doesn't just make mad things and take them to events. There is so much to this man, you would not believe it. Your latest one, which I'm going to call Whack-a-Floppy.
Yeah, it's sitting over here. Hang on. Let me bring it up to the camera.
Okay.
There it is.
It's a box. It's a big box. And it's
heavy.
Got very colourful slots on it that contain fake floppy disks.
Yes.
Do you want to explain what it does?
So you get 30 seconds, and it works a little bit like whack-a-mole. The simple way of explaining it is if there's a light flashing on it and the disk is currently out, you have to push it in, and it's quite hard to push in. And if it's in and it starts flashing, you have to press the button to pop it out. But it also randomly pops them out as well. And there's some mechanics in there that sometimes it just little pops to the surface, and sometimes it completely flies out and ends up on the floor. So it's also then the game's got some music that Hoffman put together for me, which just gets more and more crazy as you run out of time. So it just makes you more and more frantic. It works quite well. Does exactly what I expected it to.
I have a suggestion for you for an update. Now, I don't know how much you'll like this, but or whether it's possible, but that the floppy disks are matched to each floppy drive.
I did consider that, yeah.
RFID, yeah.
Yeah, I've actually got the bit to do it, but there's just not physically room in there to put the stuff in there.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, you can, those RF, the tap-it readers and things, you can tear them down so that they're slimmer line. I've got one in the Mister Multisystem 2 over here.
But I mean, there is literally no space between those drives.
Yeah, and you would have to have like a USB hub in there and all sorts of things.
Oh, no, they could be wired to the Arduino, so you can get them that do that.
Yeah, okay.
I do have a load.
Look, you're convincing yourself now.
Well, as I said, I did consider it, but then I thought, and it was just like, no, this is overcomplicating it. And sometimes you just have to know where to stop sometimes, but that doesn't mean I won't upgrade it in the future.
Exactly. Or you could just make a bigger box with more drives in it.
I could, but my printer won't print any bigger than that.
Okay. Well, go and talk to Lee Smith. He's not going to be too far away from you.
True.
He's got a big old 3D printer that I'm sure he would be delighted to help with making all crazy inventions with. So, as well as this madcap inventing thing, you also make some stuff that the community has to be very grateful for, because you did. Drawbridge and Disk Flashback are your two biggest things that I say are genuinely useful, more useful than a crazy floppy disk ejecting whack-a-mole rip-off. Right, so these are obviously two floppy disk tools that people can use. One of them is to get access to Amiga files on a PC, am I right? So that one's Drawbridge.
That's Disk Flashback. Yep. It also does Atari ST as well.
Does it?
It does.
I thought Atari ST floppy disks were PC format anyway.
They sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bridge that gap.
I bridged that gap, but it allows you to do things like format single-sided ones, which you can't do in Windows.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And Drawbridge is a way to connect hardware.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
These aren't things that I've had to use yet, so I'm a little bit in the dark on these. But I know that any time any question comes up on my Discord or in my comments or on BlueSky or before on Twitter that had anything to do with connecting up old floppy drives with PCs or making a PC drive accessible from WinUAE, for instance.
Yes.
Rob Smith knows how to do it. Rob Smith has a tool for that. It's like you're wound into the whole Amiga scene. Is it just floppy drives that you're interested in, or is there anything else?
I don't even know why I've got into floppy drives. It's just been a thing. I think it all stemmed from me wanting to get access to files that I couldn't get because my Amiga was broken at the time, and I wondered if I could make something. And I was really into electronics, so I thought, I'll have a go. Why not?
So most of us we come across a problem like that, and we look around to see if anybody else has already solved it. And when we find that they haven't, we go, "Oh, okay, I'll do something else then." But you didn't. You just, I'll invent it instead.
Well, the thing is, back when I did that, there was no grease weasel or anything like that. If you wanted to do this, you had to use, there's some very expensive products you could buy, which I didn't want to buy. And whilst at university, I'd learnt about putting code onto microchips, embedded electronics, and I hadn't touched it really since university. And obviously then I started seeing videos about Arduino and how easy it looked. And I thought, that could be the right way to go. So one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you've got a breadboard full of nonsense that doesn't work. And
So you're an Arduino fan. Do you do anything with Pis and Pi Picos?
I've got some that I need to for a project that's coming up, but I haven't really done anything with them yet. Other than the fact they're in like this here, which is one. There's one in my BlueSky, but A590. But I haven't done anything specifically with them yet. But I have a project coming up which will use one.
Maybe you can answer a question for me, because the one thing that people say that Pi Picos are not very good at is 5 volt.
That's right. Yeah,
they're obviously running on 3.3 volts.
Yeah,
and there is a project out there called the A8 Pico for the Atari XL and XE line of computers, which is basically a flash cart for those machines.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't use any level shifters.
Okay.
How does that work?
Supposedly, first of all, for inputs, the Pi Pico is supposed to be kind of 5-volt tolerant. They don't officially say that, but it's kind of been proven to be safe. And then for output, it kind of works because of where the 5-volt logic levels sit. It's able to just kind of push high enough. But it depends how it's done. If it's pulled high, and the Pi Pico is pulling it to ground, then you can actually pull it high with a resistor. So you'll still get your 5-volt. It's a bit...
Okay.
Yeah, it depends how it's set up and, different ways of doing it.
Seems to work. I just that one particularly blows me away. The simplicity of the thing is stunning because it's just a PCB with a Pi Pico on it and a switch. That's crazy. And do you, when you're creating your projects, is this something you're aware of trying to make things as simple as possible so that it keeps it cheap, obviously, but for other people to be able to build them themselves?
I mean, ideally, the Drawbridge originally, when I was starting to do it, it was about 4 or 5 chips. And by the time I'd done, the only extra component you needed was a resistor. So
okay. And that's all in software at that point then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the sort of software, yeah.
Oh. So we had Polymat on last week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not to the same extent or extreme as you in the software side, but he's someone else. And you find that in the retro circles that you usually get someone who's very much hardware oriented, who can do a bit of software stuff, who can muddle through it, or someone who's super software and doesn't really touch the hardware stuff, but will build a kit if they need to. But you're one of these very rare people that is happy to throw themselves into both sides equally. Which one is your strength, would you say, the hardware or the software?
Probably the software more. I mean, up until the age of 10, I mostly was doing electronics, and the electronics kits that you used to sell in the shops, all the springs and all that kind of stuff. And then at the age of 10, I got the Amiga, and that's when I started to learn to program. So the electronics kind of stopped at that point, although I do remember wiring various things to the parallel ports and serial ports and making lights flash on the back and all this kind of stuff, and crossing my fingers that I didn't blow anything up, and I didn't, which was good.
Well done.
But yeah, I didn't really go back to electronics for quite a long time after that because of just doing the software side. And as I said, I didn't even know there was this side where you could write code that was programmed onto a chip, and then the chip could do stuff. And that was just, then it was the combination of everything that I liked doing. So that was just amazing.
Okay, so when do you get into the FPGA world then?
Well, I'm doing a bit of that already.
Right.
Because I've been modifying for the last 3 years, because it takes a while, modifying the Mister's Amiga core to hopefully support floppy drives, real floppy drives.
Wow. Which is amazing, because the Mister's whole thing started out as an Amiga and Atari ST emulator. Well, I'm going to say emulator, and that's really going to enrage people.
Yes, you're going to have some comments.
It's all engagement.
But I mean, I think there's a few other projects now that have got one built in, but there's nothing for the Mister. It's working; it's fully complete. The only thing that stopped me releasing it is I was trying to add into the core some of the copy protected formats, like the SCP format and the IPF formats. Because at the minute, if you want to play games on the Mister, they all have to be unprotected or cracked. You can't play copy protected ones. So
that's interesting. Yeah,
that's what I've been working on, and that's the last bit. And once that's done, I'm ready to just put it all out there and let everybody have it. So,
will I be able to use Xcopy on my Mister FPGA?
It's already been tested and it worked.
Wow. Okay, so I'm all nibbling away.
Yep, it's frightening, but it does work. And Xcopy was one of the things that showed a limitation that I had to fix as well, which is, I won't go into the details, but there was some crazy stuff going on with how the data was being converted from an ADF to go into the core and then being copied to the disk. And because it was going to a real disk, there was information missing that you wouldn't need on the Amiga. So,
oh, right, yeah. Or like file structures or the actual disk. No,
it's low level. I'm just going to say low level in the MFM encoding and leave it at that, because it's far too messy to go into detail.
What he said, yeah.
Yes.
So as long as this Xcopy on the Mister FPGA has that chunk sound, I'll be happy, because I could go to sleep to that.
It's so accurate that I remember, for example, when I booted Lemmings on my Amiga, I remember the exact sounds that the drive made as it went through the various bits.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds exactly the same. It's brilliant.
Excellent. Oh, I look forward to that. I'm buying myself a Mister Multisystem 2 for Christmas. That's going to be my Christmas and birthday present because I'm not a rich man.
Well, hopefully that'll be one of the changes I have to make because it wants to go in the cartridge slot on that. So that's something I just need to adapt to. It's no special hardware or anything like that. It's just different wiring and having the edge connector.
For the people that are watching, there's the cartridge slot, which is unique to the Mister Multisystem 1 and 2, and a genius thing. Is that what physical shape does that take on the original stack then when you're connecting?
It all connects via the user port, which is the one that looks like a USB 3. Port. Yeah, the snack port. Yeah, so it looks like USB 3, but it's not. The problem is you need to keep the cable really short because of the speed of the communication. The cable has to be so short, otherwise the data gets messed up with while it's being transmitted. Because it's going so fast. It needs to go so fast to do what it's doing. Yeah. And that's the same problem if you had the MT32 Pi add-on as well. That had to be a really short cable, or later on, I think he made a version that literally just plugged into the side of the stack. So it eliminated the cable issue. Okay. But I found some cables that work, and obviously it wouldn't be a problem with the cartridge port. So
these snack cables, are they different to USB, the actual cable? I know that the serial interface is different to itself, but it's a normal USB cable, USB 3 cable. Although I did discover in the process there are multiple USB 3 cables that are not the same. Yeah, I didn't know. So you can get the two with the what's called the is it the B connector? I forget which one it is. Yeah, the A connector, the standard one that everybody sees, and you can get them where it's all passed through, and you can get some where some of the wires are swapped over, and there's another variant where they're in a different format. And I was like, what is going on here? USB is a lovely standard, isn't it? All since the beginning of time, it's just been confusing or fragile.
Yes.
It doesn't get any better as the years go on.
And it was brilliant back in the days of Windows 98 when they plugged in a device and it crashed in front of all those people.
Yes, the blue screen. Yeah, it's brilliant. That was what a moment.
Yeah. But they made light of it and got away with it, didn't they? So.
I don't know how. I suppose that having all of the senior management dancing on stage, they couldn't really top that. That was
no, that's true.
The most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever seen on the screen. Right, so let's go on to your YouTube channel, because that's a big part of what you do now, and one of the reasons that we communicate quite regularly on the internet. You run Rob Smith Dev on YouTube. And it's doing quite well, isn't it? You've. I mean, is this because of me and the Big Red Arrow?
Obviously, it's you. I mean, it couldn't be possibly anything else.
I think. Well, I know what it is. It's that you did that video. Let me just remind myself what it was. Yeah, we've already mentioned it. Xcopy. You did a full expose on the whole Xcopy story, which I think was a genius move, because everybody that used an Amiga will have fond memories, not just memories, but fond memories of using Xcopy, of long nights sat in front of a screen where it's just going chunk, chunk.
And then
chunk,
hearing that boing at the end of it.
Swapping the next disc out.
Yep.
And you did the whole story with an interview with the former Cache employee.
Yeah, that's right. His name? Christian, I can't pronounce his surname. I always get it wrong.
Let's just say Christian.
Yes, Christian. Yeah.
Brilliant video, over an hour long. And I remember you at the time when that was released being worried that it wasn't going to do very well. That's your second most viewed video on your channel, and going gangbusters. Is it still flying, or has it
it's still
calmed
getting
down?
views? Yeah, not many now, but it's doing maybe 60 or 70 a day, so that's quite reasonable.
Lovely. That's what you call the meat. Yeah. That's what you hang the rest of your channel off, that kind of thing, and then you can do.
Well, at some point I need to release a follow-up, because the interview is only 30 minutes long, but I have over an hour of footage from the interview.
Okay.
Which I just had to shorten down. So
you need Rob Smith second channel. Rob Smith. What we're going to call it, Nibbles.
Well, I do have a second one. I've just not used it yet.
To put all your slush onto, your things that you wouldn't normally put in. That's how I started. And
yeah. Well, you've got about 20 channels now, though, haven't you?
No, it's still just the 2, but I've got enough content going on them for 20 channels. So yeah, the last video that you've done, which was the Whacker Floppy.
Yes.
I love this sort of video because the enthusiasm that you show when you go through this. Not only have you gone through the whole process of making this, of designing it and bringing that thing to life and making it a real thing that works and works well, you make a video about it as well. Where do you get the time?
Yeah,
you kept man.
It's just tricky. I just film bits here and there. The thing is, like, when I'm building it, you're videoing things as you go along anyway, so you don't have to build extra things for it. And like a lot of the time making it was just leaving a print going, and you can do that whilst doing several other things. So that's really what it comes down to. And then it's just like a weekend of wiring and things like that. And
and you take your time and you get the videos right, and you're not someone that tries to pump out too much content. You have a project, you work your way through it,
yes,
and then put it out. Is that so? You never have any stress about releasing videos?
Oh,
never
I do. Absolutely.
You really?
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't.
It gets hidden a little bit. I'm lucky to have a small Patreon community, and obviously they see the videos a week early. And sometimes it slips a little bit, but then I'd send them a few little extra things as sort of compensation. So it does allow me a little bit of slippage, but there has been a few times when I've missed one, but it happens.
Yeah, but the next one would be even better because of it.
Hopefully.
What's on? I mean, there's so many things that I could pick out on your YouTube channel. Just scrolling through it is just a smorgasbord of craziness. I really enjoyed the Amiga virus protector. That's your video on your channel.
Yeah.
That dongle
that dongle that's useless. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one. But you've got all kinds of stuff on there. What's your favorite video? That not necessarily your biggest one, but the one that you've enjoyed the most making.
I think it goes back a couple of years, and that was probably the one I did about mod files and ProTracker and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. It's quite a few years ago now. I think maybe 2 years, something like that, 2 or 3 years.
What if you could do a collaboration with Retro Bytes TV, Matt D'Amico? He did a video on Laserdisc.
Oh.
Oh, no, that was something else. No, he has done one on music as well. From back in the day, I think. Oh, I might be remembering something else. That's just, I'm an old man, my brain just...
Hey, and there's a lot of videos to watch, isn't there? It's hard to remember who's made what.
That is a big problem, actually, especially when you're in part of a community like the Big Red Arrow Club, where we've got dozens and dozens of other YouTubers, and you feel guilty about not watching all of their content.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there isn't enough time in the day, and if you did that, you wouldn't be able to make your own videos as well.
Absolutely, so. Yeah. So you just have to dip in where you can and watch the ones that really appeal to you the most.
And then you can give good feedback by saying, "Oh, this one really appealed to me. I really liked it." And if you hear from someone who says, "Yeah, I really like this video," then you know that it has actually reached someone. So what motivates you to share all of this stuff? Is it just the pleasure of doing it itself, or is it actually seeing other people enjoy it just as important?
I've always enjoyed making something and watching someone have enjoyment from using it. That's been always something I've enjoyed. Probably one of the reasons why I build these silly things is I enjoy, for example, when I took the disc cleaning machine to the events last year that I went to, it was just the smile on people's face, and it's just such a positive thing, and it's nice to be able to do that. And yes, I enjoy making the things myself as well, and it's a bit of a fun and it's a bit of a challenge for myself too. But I enjoy seeing the smile on everyone else's face too. I think. Oh,
it's lovely, and you can really see that actually. Rob, when he's at these events, he's like a Duracell bunny bouncing around and. He's got so much energy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm usually completely worn out by the end of the day for some reason.
I know. Yeah, well, how did you feel after Zap this time? How long did it take you to recover? It takes me 5 days now.
Zap wasn't too bad. I had just come back a few days before from a holiday, so I was say rested, but after a long flight of jet lag and all that kind of stuff, I was a little bit tired. But then I did stay over the night at the hotel, so I had a good chance to rest as well, so it wasn't so bad.
All right. Okay. So I've got, in real time, when this goes out, it'll have happened. I've got the Retro Fest. You're not coming to this one?
No, I can't make that one, unfortunately.
This is not good enough.
No.
Are you going to send your inventions anyway? So we can
I don't know who'd take them down, but I could do.
I might take a detour and pick them up. That'd be a hell of a detour.
It would.
Right. So the other thing that you do, can you believe this? People that are listening to this,
there's more.
There's more. He does other stuff as well. What the hell? I think I've only missed one thing. I'm not looking at your website. I have got notes here that I've written down, and I think I've only missed one thing that you do, and I think that is making games. You actually make your own games. Come on, Rob. You're just showing off now. This is ridiculous. So tell us about your games making, because we're not impressed enough as it is.
Okay, so I mean, the games making started with the Santa's Present Drop game I made, and originally I wrote that as an iPhone game that was supposed to be sort of pixel art many years ago, because I wanted to learn how to make a game for an iPhone. This was before I was doing any YouTube. And it was on the App Store for a while, and then I decided I didn't want to pay for the membership every year because, well, it doesn't make you any money. So it sat there for ages, and then I thought, I bet I could convert that to Amos. So I had a go, and I did. And I think Amiga Addict put it on their cover disc 1 year, which was quite nice. And it was about the same time as I started making videos, and people seemed to like them. So I started making more, and just for fun. And they were meant to all be sort of tutorials, though that's got a little bit out of hand with some of them. So the last one I did for Christmas, the Santa's Present Drop 4, I think I was sort of about 6 or 7 months building that in the background. It was a huge game, probably a little bit too hard in places as well. So yeah, that was a big game. But some of the other ones, like the first Hop to the Top game I did, which was the bunny rabbit jumping up the platforms, that was just meant as a quick throwaway, and it just went absolutely mad, and even got reviewed in some game magazines, and I wasn't expecting that.
Wow, that's really a special thing to get in a magazine.
Just for a tutorial, though. That was what it was meant to be.
Yeah. Well, that just shows, the creativity and good programming will take you a long way. So did you ever make any games before you started making a Santa's Drop for the iPhone? Or was there anything else before that, or did you just pick up that as a programming exercise?
Well, I made quite a few random games back when I had the Amiga back in the day. I entered
on Amos.
On Amos. I entered the Amos. Amiga Format had a Write a Game in Amos competition, which I entered. I think it was about 14 when I did that. And I was one of the 12 winners, I think, if I remember rightly. So that was quite good. And then it took...
What was that game?
It was a game called In the Pipeline, which they claimed was a complete copy of Pipe Mania, and I'd never played Pipe Mania before, so that was quite a surprise. It wasn't quite the same game, but it was join up the pipes and then start the water flowing, and then you go on to your next mission. I was more inspired by, I don't know if you've ever played a game called Click Clack or Gearworks. It's the same game. It's got two different names. Yeah. I was more inspired by that and how the cogs joined up and everything. Yeah. So that's what gave the idea. So.
Yeah, you have to join the squares together so that the cogs actually move everything and it links up to the other side. Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed that game. That's my sort of thing.
So I made a Windows version of that probably while I was sort of about 18, 19, just for fun, just to see if I could. Again, using languages that people don't expect. I was using Delphi to do that, and that's not really for making games, but you do these things. But around the same time, I also was writing, which is going to sound really crazy, I used to sell a piece of software I wrote that allowed you to make karaoke presentations on Windows. And
karaoke presentations on Windows.
So you could put all the words in and synchronize it up. And that was quite good. And I wrote that when I started at college, and then I carried on working on it while I was at university. And I got a random email one day, and I thought it was just spam, so I ignored it. And then I got another email a couple of weeks later, and it was from a company called Televirtual. Now, most people probably don't know who that is, but they're the company who created the Nightmare TV series. So,
right.
And they were putting a a TV program together called Karaoke Fish Tank, which was supposed to be aimed at like students at 2 a.m. It was on like Channel 4. So my summer job that year was using my own program to put in all the lyrics to all the songs that they were putting in. And I got to spend a week up in Norwich with Televirtual. And it was really cool. Their office had like the original cell paintings for all the background of Nightmare and stuff all over the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
That was
good fun. And I got paid for it as well. So that was also good.
Even better. Yeah. So you got recognised.
Yeah.
You got employed. And you got to hang out in a really cool place as well.
Yeah.
Nightmare was a brilliant show as well.
It was, yeah. One of my friends was really jealous because he was so into Nightmare. So.
Did you get to bring any, or did you steal anything as well?
I would love to have done, but no, I didn't. But
you're not saying that on the internet where somebody can still sue you.
No, didn't steal anything. No, it was good.
All right. So obviously you went into your day job is I'm guessing is software.
That's right. Yeah.
So were there any other cool employers that that are linked up with our retro hardware and software?
Really, no. One of the guys I work with used to program on the Amiga and used to make Amiga games.
Nice. What was that like on that day when you actually went, oh, yeah, Amiga, and you realised that you both had the same interest?
Well, my boss is into Amiga as well, so that kind of helps.
That really does.
Small world.
Okay, so it is a small world, and I wish it was a bit smaller for me.
You need to increase it in your area. That's what you need to do. You could just create some sort of museum. Just don't call it the cave, because that might be taken.
We've discussed this. I'm still going to be. I'm going to be talking to Neil about the opportunity for franchise and taking over local mills. But yeah, there's a lot. I think there's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah, it could be a little bit. Yeah.
There's the dream, though. Is that something you? Well, I mean, what's your hardware collection like? Because mine is just gone crazy. You make all these crazy projects, but you also deal a lot with the hardware around, especially the Amiga.
Yeah.
Do you still collect things, or have you got your collection sorted and you're happy with what you got? Pretty sure you got an Amiga 4000 there.
No, that's a 2000 behind me.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I've got an Amiga 2000, two 500 pluses, two 1200s, and recently a 600, and that was obviously for the disc game because I wanted something small to carry around. Probably way too many of these. I've now got 4 of these, which I need to get rid of because that's just taking up space.
Yeah, you have to say what that is for the audio.
This is the A590 hard disk add-on for the Amiga 500.
In a crystal case.
This is in a crystal case, but I've got 3 others that are not in a crystal case. One of them I won't be getting rid of because it's a really, really early model. The serial numbers are like really, really small on it, so I shall be keeping that one. But the other 2 I shall probably sell on at some point. It's just taking up space, and I've only got literally the room I'm in is where I have everything. I can't have it anywhere else. So, and when you're making things, you need space to actually build things in. You can't have it like I've got here, where you can't really walk. I had to tidy the floor before this, so and it's deceptive. The bit behind me there, where you can just see the Retro Directory logo, and there. If I take those panels off, there's all my components and all sort of electronics bits behind that. So.
Oh, right. So that's basically your workshop as well.
Yes. And then there's a desk to my right where I do all my soldering, and there's a camera that looks down on the desk and all that kind of stuff. So, which I have to move out the way, or I smack my head on it occasionally. So
I've done that with my monitors. Yeah. That's when you're trying to make the space as efficient as possible. You tend to put things where your head goes.
Absolutely, yeah. So where I'm sitting now is the computer I do my day job at because I work from home, and it's also where I do all my videos and everything like that. So everything has to work nicely. So it's just it takes time to get you set up how you want it.
Do you enjoy the editing process as much as the making, or is that the pinch point where things start to hurt?
I don't mind the editing. My favourite bit's actually the final bits, which is the bit where I last go in and I try and synchronise things, and I like to have certain things synchronised to sound effects and music, and they're not just playing. There's a specific reason when they start, and that's my favourite bit of it all.
Yeah,
there's a video I did that was a real deliberate point of that, and that was the one I did that was the joke for Hoffman. because he did this piece of music called The Shipping Forecast. And I made him this seagull, which had the same sound. There's another one of them behind me just there. Made the same sound every time he hit it. So I did a whole video about how I made it and how it worked. And everything in that was meticulously aligned to the piece of music all the way through, just to make a point of how ridiculously over the top it was, because he made the track as a joke in the first place.
I said that sometimes the motivation for doing these things, it doesn't seem like something noble, but the end product is always worth the journey.
Well, when you're editing it and you start laughing, you know you're onto the right track. So.
Do you plan your videos then in advance? Like if you're doing a big build, or do you just film everything and then collage it together at the end and then finesse it down?
It depends what it is. If it's a more of a documentary type one, it's all scripted and I work it out and grab the materials and put it all together. If it's something like the crazy floppy disk thing on the side here, that's more of I'll design it and build it and then work out how I'm going to put a video together later on after filming various bits while I'm making it, knowing that I'll need that footage later on. So that video, obviously, because when I show me making these things, I play it so fast anyway. It's okay. I can easily like hide massive delays between doing things, and you don't notice it because you're just watching me going crazy with my hands like this one. It looks like I'm soldering 100 miles an hour. Yeah, you miss the bits where I burn myself, or
Oh no, I always put those bits in. They're the bits that people really enjoy. Me hurting myself.
There's a few bits that I wish I'd caught on camera and I never did, and it was like the first A590 video I did. I literally had the camera turned off. And it just melted and smoke started pouring out. And those are the bits I always miss. It's so annoying.
And you can't reproduce that, can you? Well, you can't. Maybe there's some pyrotechnics you could invent.
Yeah. I think there's a YouTuber that's really successful that already does that with all of his videos. So I don't know.
Let's not talk about Reese like that.
It wasn't Reese. But I have had one of my devices blow up before. If you remember when we went to the Cambridge event, the amplifier blew up inside my...
your floppy disk.
My floppy disk cleaner, and everybody thought all the retro machines had burnt because it was that burning smell. It wasn't. Yeah. It was really funny. Yeah. So I donated that piece to Reese, and I think he's still got it on his shelf somewhere. So.
He has. He's got it in his studio. He's very proud of it as well. He showed it to me when... I saw it at the event, but he showed it to me on this shelf there when I went to visit him in the studio. He's super proud of that. I think he's as proud of that as he is of his... sun face that What Ho Snorkers did for him. That's another of his prized possessions.
Indeed.
Right, so Rob, where can people find you on the internet?
Very easy. Just search Rob Smith Dev. Very easy.
Did that, and it found everything because you got a website with all of the links at the top. Okay, it's time to wrap up another episode where hardly anything went wrong, and it won't take me 3 days to edit this mess. Maybe we'll just skip to episode 14. But no, the world needs to know about Rob and his amazing brain. You can help me get the word out there by liking and subscribing and telling your friends, Postman, Harry at the garage, Sly Eddie and Grandma about this podcast. They are annoyingly hard to promote and grow, and any help you give will make a huge difference. As well as this podcast, you can find me making things on More Fun Making It YouTube channel and fixing things on, you guessed it, More Fun Fixing It, where this podcast is also available with moving pictures. And it'd be rude not to go and subscribe to the Rob Smith Dev YouTube channel. Look at that. I got through this whole episode without mentioning The Cure. Oh, damn it.
Oh, there you go.